Eric Holder, which she was Speaker of the House for 2 years when Eric Holder was the Attorney General. She didn't say that about him. She didn't say that about Loretta Lynch. Okay. I mean, so there's this double standard. There's always a double standard. I get tired of it. I get so I just get so we spend a lot of time on the double standard. We spend a lot of time working through these issues of people who think they're privileged, like Hunter Biden getting $1 billion for his investment fund, and his daddy overseeing this. Now, we talked about this early on when it happened. Uh, I think it was like 2014 or so that this Biden thing happened, and I always thought it was kind of interesting that Hunter got this contract, got this all this money, and his daddy, was vice president, got this money from China. Now you have to understand, Hunter was not a seasoned uh, investment guy. He's not a seasoned investment guy. So Hunter, and the Chinese. But Joe Biden, old Joe, Gafting Joe. See, Joe should have left well enough alone. Joe should never, and I want to repeat, never have tried to run for president because people really weren't going to push that China Hunter Biden connection that he got that money when Joe threatened the Chinese. But now it's in play. Listen to Joe Biden talk about China. Now this is has to be either he's one of the dumbest dudes in government or one of the dumbest dudes in Washington D.C. or he's working for the Chinese. I'll let you make your choice.
China is going to eat our lunch. Come on, man. They can't figure out how they're going to deal with the corruption that exists within the system. I mean, they're not bad folks, but guess what? They're competition for us.
Yeah, they are competition for us. That is not true. They are big competition. And I tell you, they're getting better all the time. I'm looking for a little paper here. I had a little accident. See, that's the thing about electronics, man. It's very unforgiving when you have an accident. I mean, like it will take your stuff out. I mean, it was like zzz, your stuff is gone, like zzz, gone, gone forever. So I'm just dealing with this little accident of some water on my board. Okay, so we got that squared away. But man, I tell you, Hunter Biden. So the Bidens allegedly had financial ties to the Chinese. Well, well, how do you get to that? How does that become allegedly when we know that this guy got $1 billion from the Chinese to his investment firm? That's a fact. It's not a supposition. It's not an opinion. It actually happened, and I think I may be wrong, but I think this whole China $1 billion transaction is going to be the bane of Joe Biden's candidacy. I think it's going to be the kind of the torpedo that sinks the ship. He should have never tried to run. Bad move, Joe. Bad move. Bad move. Like I said, and then he says that China's not a threat. I mean, this is the same guy, he and what's the guy's name? Barack Obama, who said that Russia was not a threat to America. This is a guy, Biden and Obama, who decided not to stop the Russians from spying on us. See, let's be clear who allowed the Russians to spy on us. It was Barack Obama. Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Barack Obama and Joe Biden allowed the Russians to interfere in our elections. And then Barack had the nerve, he had the nerve to come on TV and say, well, yes, the Russians influenced our elections, and so the reporter said, well, did they change votes? And his reply was, no, they didn't change any votes, but they interfered with our election. Well, if you know that they were interfering with the election, Mr. President, why didn't you stop them? That becomes the question. Yeah, it does. But you'll never get that question from mainstream media because they don't want to know the answer. So when you don't want to know the answer, or they know the answer, you don't ask the question. And these people have a way of doing that. They don't want to ask the question. I get it. Hey, look, we're going to take a little short break and we'll be right back, okay?
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Put sleepless nights behind you with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Kim Moline, co-owner of the Wingstop restaurants in Lansing and South Holland.
Hey, Tom, I've got to be honest. Although I was unhappy with our old payroll company, I was pretty apprehensive about transitioning into a new one. When it comes to payroll, delays and lost data are really unacceptable. But I'm happy to say your staff really made it easy for us, and the transition couldn't have been smoother. And now, as we consider taking advantage of some of the other services you offer, well, let's just say that next time we won't be so chicken.
Thanks, Kim. Just call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or check us out at the web at precisionpayroll.com. That's precisionpayroll.com.
Okay, we're back and pick up where we left off. Talking about old Joe, old Uncle Joe, old blue collar Joe, who happened to arrange for $1 billion deal for Hunter. Wow, $1 billion deal for Hunter. You can't make this stuff up. You know, they, they oh man. And we're not going to talk about Huawei, the company that's trying to install 5G and allow the Chinese government to have a back door into all of our communications, especially government communications. So, Biden's alleged financial ties to the U.S. enemy, China. They are our enemy. There's no question. They've always been our enemy. So for us to prop them up, to give them the money and the capitalist resources to build a military, to build a navy, to compete with our navy, to challenge us in the South China Sea, to put together an air force that will challenge us in Asia, is ludicrous. But I want to bring back the draft. Why do I want to bring back the draft? Because those privileged people in Washington, D.C. will have their sons and daughters out on the front line getting fired at too. And by the way, we want to add that no congressperson, senator, congressman can request special assignments for their children. None. Get on the front line just like everybody else. Al Gore, whose racist ass daddy, and Al Gore's a racist, by the way, but whose racist ass daddy, Southern segregationist Al Gore Sr., had his son sitting in an air conditioned office in Saigon, talking about he created the internet. Al Gore never created anything in his life but a fart as he flies around the world in his gas guzzling Falcon. Everybody knows that Falcon is a gas guzzler, and of all the planes he could own, he owns the biggest gas guzzler, one of the biggest gas guzzlers in the inventory. So, okay. So Steve Bannon, good buddy of mine, Steve says Joe Biden's got to come 100% clean on his relationship and his family's relationship with the Chinese Communist Party. We need to know every piece of involvement that Joe has had with the Chinese Communist Party, the Bank of China, and all financial institutions in China. That's true. Um, there's another ex-Trump advisor. He was talking about. He wrote a book called Clinton Cash. Peter Switzer. He reported in his book that secret empires. His book is called Secret Empires: How the American Political Class hides corruption and enriches family and friends. In this book, Switzer writes about the link between Biden's role in U.S. China policy and a deal consummated by his son, Hunter, his investment firm, Rosemont Sienna Partners, with the Chinese government. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Now, the vice president, in his capacity as vice president, was negotiating some very sensitive issues with the Chinese, including the South China, the South China Sea, trade, technology transfer, etc. Now, Biden is criticized on that trip for basically going soft on China. Shortly after his return to the U.S., Hunter Biden's firms receives $1 billion in private equity for a private equity deal with the Chinese government from the Bank of China. Not from an American business in China, but from the Chinese government itself. It later gets increased to 1.5 billion. They said we have no way of knowing how much money Rosemont made on the deal because there's no disclosure requirements. Somebody is making money. Old Joe is not the old blue collar Joe that he tries to portray himself to be. And we know this. But media will not bust him out. Like the media will not bust out Barack Obama and all of his infidelities, immoralities, shortcomings as a leader of the free world, the girly man that he is. And I say that with great glee because I just want to tell the truth. Now, Biden said that the China is no competition. No competition. By the way, the president spoke to Putin today for over an hour, talked about the Mueller report and all that good stuff. Be interesting to see. I would love to have been a fly on the wall, I tell you that. But Trump had this to say about Biden and his comments on China. Listen.
Everyone's competition. He is very naive about China. China, just during the Obama years in particular, just took advantage of our country so badly. If Biden actually said that, that's a very dumb statement to make.
Yeah. So not only did Biden say,
wow. President says a very dumb statement to me. I mean, this guy, you gotta love Trump. He just calls it for what it is. He just puts it right out there. Hey, the dude is stupid. I tell you. But what I find, interesting is that Biden doesn't get called on this crap more often because he's been wrong on foreign policy and domestic policy issues since 1972. I used to say, who is this guy? I remember seeing Biden on television talking about Delaware being a slave holding state. And I'm thinking, I was in college, and I'm thinking, why is that important? That Delaware was a slavehold? Because I didn't know that Delaware was a slaveholding state. I'll be perfectly honest. I had no idea that Delaware was a slaveholding state. And more importantly, why would it be important to anyone that Delaware was a slaveholding state? Why is that important? Obviously, it was to Joe because he was sending a message to his base that somehow he supported the Confederacy. Now, I wonder if this is ever going to come out. Let's see if I can find that video where Biden is saying that Delaware is a slaveholding state. Let's see, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Let's see, Delaware. Let's see, Delaware. There's a beach on Delaware. I know one thing: his wife is fine. His wife is fine, 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 boy. Holding state. Okay. Let's see if we can find the video. My state was a slave state. Yeah, here it is, right here. It comes right up. I mean, all you have to do is just type it in the search engine. It comes right up. It doesn't, does it?
And finally, Senator Biden. Clear options right now. And finally, we got about 30 seconds left, but I can't let you go without some politics. As we mentioned, you're in South Carolina right now on the campaign trail. 30 seconds or less. What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
So,
wow.
And finally,
wow. So he's saying his state's a racist state. His state was a slaveholding state. That's what the guy said. I didn't say it. Joe Biden said it. Joe Biden says, one of the things that people are talking about today, they're still talking about this ex-CIA Chinese American who was spying for the Chinese. I think, the guy, he was a naturalized citizen. Amazing. Now, one of the things people are talking about is that the FBI sent several FBI undercover agents to investigate and meet with Trump campaign officials. Well, nothing really came of it because there was nothing there. That's the beauty of it. But these people were actually spying on a private citizen and on a campaign, presidential campaign. Can't make this stuff up, people. You can't make this stuff up. I wish you could, but you can't. Moving to a more somber topic, one I hadn't talked about because I didn't want to really address it because it was so sad for me. And it was this young man who charged a man holding a gun, shooting at students at University of North Carolina. That just really broke my heart. That this young man, not a kid, this young man sacrificed himself to save others. But those are the kind of young people we have. We always talk about and tease about and kind of rag on millennials, but we have some good kids out here. We have some good millennials out here. They understand sacrifice, like this young man who was part of NROTC or ROTC at his school, and they're going to bury him with military honors, hopefully. But I had ducked the story because it hurt so bad that this young man's life was cut down senselessly by some moron. But they should have shot the guy. I mean, they don't shoot these people. How does this kid in Aurora, this red-haired punk in Aurora, shoot 70 people and walk out standing up? If he was black, I'm gonna tell you, if he was black, he would have been dead. They would have shot him. Give up, sacrifice, put your hands in the air. No, hell no. They would have shot him dead. But he's a white boy. So we're going to give him the benefit of the, he was having a difficult day. Who cares? I certainly don't. But he should have been put down like the animal that he is. He shot this young man, who's a great young man. And so the police chief of the area, his name is Putney. He had this to say. Let's listen.
When I spoke to the father, one father to another, I told him personally, I wish I had words. What I did tell him is we're committed to the work. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We assured him we're going to find out the why.
You know, the why? I've never really been a why person. I don't care why. It's not important to me why. When you do it, you've done it. Let's deal with, you did it. And I don't care why you did it. It was wrong. And we have to deal with the consequences of your decision to take these folks' lives. I just wish his life had been taken. Seriously. And for those of you who think I'm being too harsh, put yourself in this parent's place who had his son taken away from him and a mother who had their son taken away from them. They won't have grandchildren. They won't have new memories. He will always be 19. He will not age. It's really deep. So, my condolences to the family, to the university, to his ROTC unit, fellow comrade in arms. I hope St. Pete welcomed him through the pearly gates with a smile and a hug from all of us. And I hope this young man meets Satan and his angels and burns in hell for the rest of his life. That's what I hope. Kim Fox. Here we are again. Kim Fox. She has another conflict. Oh my God. When is it going to stop, Kim? Stop it, Kim. Stop, please. But a Cook County judge, um, the Cook County judge, I should say, the Cook County judge who's supposed to be appointed, who's supposed to decide whether or not a state special prosecutor is going to be assigned, happens to have a son who works directly for who? Kim Fox. So, judge, retired judge, appellate judge Sheila O'Brien said he should recuse himself and assign the case to a judge outside of Cook County. Yeah, Judge Martin's son is an assistant state's attorney, and he works under Kim and has worked under Kim for more than a year.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with it.
Yeah, we're going to skip that. Thanks, Leonora. But we're just talking about, wow, time flies. We'll skip that right now. So O'Brien, Judge O'Brien says, you're going to be deciding whether Fox, your son's boss, is telling the truth. Martin said he would decide whether to recuse himself and set the next hearing for the matter for May 10th. Um, a legal analyst here in Chicago, Irv Meyer, he's on CBS. He said, I think it's a problem. She's the son's employer. She controls his pay and promotions, and that's why it's an appearance of impropriety. But Judge O'Brien is very clear that she asked for a special prosecutor to delve into the behind the scenes decision making process in the Smollett case. Smollett didn't show up this week. He's like, hey, man, I'm not going back to Illinois. Issue a warrant. I don't care. So, Kim Fox, and we're talking what? Fox TV, Empire, this thing. I think somebody should play that name, Fox. I think it should hit, right? It should hit the lottery. But Fox has publicly said she'd welcome an independent probe into her office's decision to dismiss a 16 count indictment against Smollett, who is accused of staging a hate crime on himself. However, she filed a motion on Tuesday to quash the special call for special prosecutor. Okay, we'll see. So March 10th is a big day when either the judge will stand in there or he'll recuse himself. And Smollett, he got burned. In fact, Smollett, they renewed the option on his contract for Empire. They renewed Empire. They renewed the option on his contract for Empire, meaning that they can he can come back and work. But I tell you this: after he got married on TV, and people, God, I had people calling me telling me how disgusting it was. I didn't even watch it. See, I'm done with Empire. Jesse Smollett or not, I'm done. It's just, in my opinion, they tried to dupe us. So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I decide that I am not going to watch Empire at all for entertainment purposes or anything else. I'm done. Finish. Kaput. Over. Finet. Stick a fork in me. Okay? Done with Empire and their craziness. Now, the economy. Wow. If this were Barack Obama's economy, everyone would be jumping up and, oh, he's great, he's brilliant. Oh, the man, he's wonderful. Barack couldn't get over 1.9, 1.9 a quarter. And you know what they tried to sell us? What did they try to sell us on? If I'm lying, they tried to sell us on 1.9 was the new. 1.9 was where the country was going to be forever. We could not get above that number. That's what Barack Obama tried to sell us. Now, if I'm lying, call me. 215-867-8255. I'll pick up. But I'm not lying. That's what they tried to sell us, a bill of goods. It didn't work. Donald Trump comes in, starts changing policies, kicking business in gear. People start spending money, saying, hey, oh, yeah, we can do this. So, depending on which source you look at, it's 3.2, 3.1. Bam. Done. The Donald. They said, well, this is really Obama's economy. No, it's not Obama's economy. It's bull. Anyone who thinks that, all they have to do is look at labor participation rates. All they have to do is look at policy. Barack Obama's policy stymied shell production. If we didn't have shell, where these people were, you know, getting the shell out of the ground, shell oil, um, Barack's economy wouldn't have been 1.9; it would have been less than that, because the whole shell thing was leading the economy in terms of jobs and prosperity, created hundreds of thousands of jobs. The shell oil business, which is kind of defunct right now. But this is the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years, 1969. It's amazing. It's amazing. And April also marks the 14th consecutive month of the unemployment rate being below 4%. How about that? How about that? Unemployment rate for Hispanics fell to 4.2, the lowest since 1973. Individuals with only a high school education, 3.5, lowest since 2000. Unemployment rate for veterans fell to 2.3, lowest since 2002. The U6, which gives a broader measure of unemployment and includes those who are unemployed, marginally attached to the labor force, and working part time for economic reasons, remained at 7.3% in May, the lowest U6 report since December of 2000. Amazing. Amazing. Now, in a separate report issued by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment situation report showed total non farm payroll employment in April rose by 263,000 jobs, far surpassing the market's expectation of 190,000. So in total, the economy added about 5.8 million jobs since President Trump was elected. Whoa, amazing. And also, the month of April continued the longest streak of growth on record. Guys doing something right. I'm sorry. In fact, I have to call my friends and say, okay, the president's doing X. What do you think? Because he's doing a good job. I think he's done a great job myself. But I'm a little biased. I must admit. Um, we're going to the California State of Mind. Well, how did I get all these pages? California. Who printed off all these pages for me? California State of Mind. Oh, I know what this was. This was a story on HBCUs. Yeah, this is a story on HBCUs. And it put that right in the middle of it. Oh, God, let's see if I can get rid of that. Okay, let's see if I can get rid of that. Yeah, we go. Yep. Okay. HBCUs are in trouble again. Now, do you think if um, Tom Perez was president, that historic majority colleges would be in financial trouble? I don't think so. Barack Obama tried to close black colleges for black kids. Yeah, he did. And he did a damn pretty good job of it. Yeah. And there's a great article. It's about 9 pages in let's see, in the L.A. Times today or yesterday. Let's see. Let me look. Oh wow, it's a long time ago, April 22nd. I didn't realize it was that old because I just saw it today. But they're talking about Bennett College, and I know that Bennett needed to raise a little money that Jesse Smollett was trying to do before he went out and faked that hate crime. I mean, that really, I was kind of rolling with Jesse, and then because he was trying to get some money for Bennett for their school, raise some money for their school, raise their awareness. And then he did the hate crimes incident, and everybody forgot all the good work he was doing. It's like it didn't exist, never existed. That's what happens. I want to commend Ted Cruz again, Ted Cruz again, for the stance he made in standing up to Democrats castigating Attorney General Barr. They were totally over the top. And
well, thank you for your testimony. And let me start by just saying thank you. You've had an extraordinarily successful legal career. You didn't have to take this job. And you stepped forward and answered the call yet again, knowing full well that you would be subject to the kind of slanderous treatment, the Kavanaugh treatment that we have seen of senators impugning your integrity. And I, for one, am grateful that you answered that call and are leading the Department of Justice both with integrity and fidelity to law. That is what the nation rightly expects of our Attorney General. And I believe you are performing that very ably. I think this hearing today has been quite revealing to anyone watching it, although perhaps not for the.
So Senator Cruz was right on top of it. He's like, wait a minute. You castigated this man. You've called him names. All he did was sit here and answer your questions. And that's exactly what he did. He sat and he answered the questions. He didn't get bent out of shape. He didn't call anyone names. He just sat and he responded. And he responded in a very thoughtful manner and respectful manner. Kamala Harris, Senator Haran, what was it? Hanoa, or horrible, totally over the top people. Totally. Let's listen to Ted a little bit more, and then we're going to make some comments. Here we go.
Reason some of the Democratic senators intended. One thing that's revealing in the discussion and questions that came up, a word that occurred almost none at all is the word Russia. For 2.5 years, we heard Democratic senators going on and on and on about Russia collusion. We heard journalists going on and on and on about Russia collusion, alleging, among other things, some using extreme rhetoric, calling the president a traitor. We heard very little of that in this hearing today. Instead, the principal attack that Democratic senators have marshaled upon you concerns this March 27th letter from Robert Mueller. And it's an attack that I want people to understand just how revealing it is. If this is their whole argument, they ain't got nothing. So their argument is as follows. Let me see if I understand it correctly. You initially, when you received the Mueller report, released to Congress and the public a 4-page summary of the conclusions. Then on March 27th, Mr. Mueller asked you to release an additional 19 pages, the introduction and summary that he had drafted. And indeed, in the letter, what he says is, quote, I am requesting that you provide these materials to Congress and authorize their public release at this time. And the reason he says it is that to fully capture the context, nature, and substance of the office's work and conclusion. So you did not release those 19 pages at that time. Instead, a couple of weeks later, you released 448 pages, the entire report, which includes those 19 pages. Do I have that timeline correct?
That's right.
So their entire argument is, General Barr, you suppressed the 19 pages that are entirely public, that we have, that we can read, that they know every word of it. And their complaint is it was delayed a few weeks. And that was because of your decision not to release the report piecemeal, but rather to release those 19 pages along with the entire 448 pages produced by the special counsel.
Yes.
If that is their argument, I have to say that is an exceptionally weak argument. Because if you're hiding something, I'll tell you right now, General Barr, you're doing a very lousy job of hiding it.
You can't make this stuff up. I mean, you heard Ted Cruz lay the whole argument out. Everyone's talking. Everyone's been talking the last 3 days about General Barr's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. I think the man showed exceptional courage, patience, wisdom, knowledge of the law and his job. So for the House to ask for an unredacted copy of the report is ludicrous. What it says is we're stupid. They can't release the report unredacted for several reasons. They have legal statutes. There are statutes that the special counsel had to follow, that the attorney general must follow, and they include not releasing information of the grand jury, not releasing information on ongoing investigations, not releasing information that would embarrass or taint innocent people. I mean, 90% of the report was published unredacted. 90%. And they're still saying, well, we need to say that other 10% because we just want to see it. No, you can't. You're not going to. You're not going to find who was on the grand jury or how they felt, It's not going to happen. So I don't know why Democrats just don't get over it. They should, because it's over. It's over. It's done. Now the focus is on the good stuff. Who authorized the FISA warrants? Who authorized the tapping of Donald Trump's campaign. And this is the beauty of that whole scenario. Everybody thought Hillary's going to win, be swept under the carpet. Loretta Lynch would be Attorney General, and she certainly wasn't going to uh, paying attention to Democrats trying to bring the evidence against Hillary Clinton or the FBI or the Justice Department. She wasn't going to have it. She wasn't going to allow it. But it's a new sheriff in town, and he is going to get to the bottom of why his campaign was wiretapped, why his campaign headquarters were wiretapped, why a FISA warrant was issued. He's going to get to the bottom of all that. It's not going to be pretty. People don't want to see it coming, but it's coming. Donald Trump was not supposed to win. That's the bottom line. Trump wasn't supposed to win. The fact that he did has thrown this country in. I hear people say, well, we're divided. Where'd they get that from? The media? Do you think that we're divided? We've always been divided. We've been divided by our wants versus others' wants. That's why we're divided. We've always been that way. I don't see that as being anything, as the kids would say, to write home about. It's not. Certainly not. Camilla Harris. She said that she thought Bart was being biased. My God. I tell you can't make this stuff up. And if you could, would it have this kind of ending? That is the key. The Mueller report. I think I'm going to. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read any of it to you on the line. It's 90 pages. And it's not bad reading. It's just 90 pages, man. Oof. And I'm reading it online because I refuse to use that many trees, like 45 trees to download this thing. I don't think so. Or 45 pages to download this thing. I don't know how much wood that is, but not going to do it. Let's see. Speaking of doing, it's Friday. It's Freedom Friday. Free for you guys to call in, express your opinions, talk about anything you want to talk about. Uh, besides fat people, we're not gonna do that today. But so I look at who we look at Washington Post, and I am looking at Washington Post right now. A lot of interesting articles jump out. Fact one I think was in the New York Times about how Nate Turner's slave past is being eroded away through neglect. It's unfortunate. But the guy who will get all this stuff fixed is one guy that people still hate, President Obama. Amazing. So, Putin, Trump. I know, I know attorney. I know the news people. I'm sure Rachel Maddow has an earful this evening on what did the president have to say to Putin? Why is he colluding with the Russians? Why is he meeting with because Putin's a world leader, you moron. That's why. She said it's true. Ali in Virginia. Okay. So Virginia. I was just looking at something. It says in Virginia, a push to keep the history of slavery from fading into myth. They've done a good job of talking about states' rights to enslave and beat people to death if that's what you chose to do because that was your property. Wow. Well, let's see. It's celebrated. I'm just thinking. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, Bernie. Bernie says that he spent 10 days over in the Soviet Union on his honeymoon, and that shaped his socialist views. This guy, he is so whack. The guy, Bernie Sanders. Come on, Bernie. You can do better than that. I mean, he's a socialist. Yeah, I think he's a stooge for the Soviet Union. He wrote a book. He said Bernie, they said, was bare chested, towel draped, sitting at a table lined with vodka bottles as he sang "This Land Is Your Land." His host in the Soviet Union in the spring of 19 of
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Puts with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
Concern to every single American. Now, we've been hearing all these stories about sanctuary cities that
You can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop. Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon.
Okay, we're back, and old Bernie in the Soviet Union. I tell you, this guy Bernie is a character. He said he wanted to take let's take the strengths of both systems, capitalism and socialism, and we can learn from each other. He's such a moron. The Soviet sojourn, they say, has long been extraordinary, if little understood. Chapter in Sanders's lore. They say he has for 4 years used it to help explain his views about foreign policy, citing it as recently as last month. Yeah. They say the trip garnered a brief mention in the 2016 campaign, but we knew about it. We talked about it extensively. His trip to Russia. A video from the Vermont community television station was posted online and showed a few minutes of Sanders' unlikely celebration with the Soviets. Well, we know where conservatives are this cycle. They are politically conservative, they're economically conservative, or fiscally conservative, and they're socially conservative, just like black people. Same demographics Donald Trump's playing to. Socially, economic conservatives, fiscal conservatives. What else do you want? Hey, look, we'll be back Monday morning doing our thing. So take care. Ba-dum-bum, ba-da-dum-bum.